work. As he managed to find out from the supposedly friendly note, the water was used for its intended purpose. In general, they had to dig the earth from the river to the estate itself, process it, fill it up. They had come a long way. Rakona slammed his fist on the table and asked how this was connected with his workshop. The young man asked him to just listen further and be patient. The hero said that then a huge valley stood in their way. Lloyd waved his hand and noted that they had no other choice but to build a Roman aqueduct, a water conduit for delivering water to settlements, irrigation and hydroelectric systems from sources located above them. In order to find the limestone they needed, they had to carry out blasting operations. As a result, completely unintentionally, limestone began to settle on the bottom of the valley, a very large amount. The man nervously clenched his fists and exclaimed what this had to do with his workshop. The guy smiled and said that the water from the valley is used in his production. The limestone particles had ruined the colors of the fabrics. The Viscount slammed the table and said he would sue the royal court. The hero crossed his arms and said it was his right. The young man grinned and said it would take at least 2 years to reach a decision. Would anyone still remember Rakona's product? The man sweated and clenched his teeth, mentally calling his interlocutor a disgusting runt and a piece of trash. Lloyd stood up and said it was time to go, since he had satisfied his curiosity. The Viscount pointed his finger at him and shouted that the hero had messed with the wrong person, since he had many acquaintances in the royal palace. The interlocutor's face distorted with anger, and he said that the guy would repay him tenfold. The brown-haired man just waved his hand and left. The hero and the knight were walking back along the road. Xavier looked at the gentleman and said that he could not understand everything. He noted that by provoking the Viscount, the young man had only angered him even more. It seemed that Rakona would stand his ground to the end. The man had great connections in the capital. If it came to litigation, they would lose even more money. Lloyd put his hands in his pockets and replied that he understood what the swordsman was getting at. He asked to just wait a little longer. The other man looked at him questioningly. The young man smiled and muttered that they would still see who